Yo, Trejos, all the way from Bogota, Colombia, bro. So listen,
Gio, what's going on?
what's good, my guy? So I know you've seen the fight, Jake Paul versus Willie, right? So
Yeah.
tell me your thoughts on that, bro.
Man, I mean, as far as the fight goes, I think the right man won. What do you think about it?
I think the right man won, bro. Like, give me your take on that fight so I can give you mine.
Okay, so I think an average, like if Jake Paul would have just fought an average boxer the other night, I think it would have gone very similar to the Mayweather-McGregor fight where, the boxer's drowning the inexperienced boxer. I think it would have gone down that way, and it was going down that way with Woodley, but Woodley didn't capitalize. Obviously, he didn't fucking finish, right?
Yeah.
Which is what everyone's been complaining about, right?
True. So there's a couple of things that Jake did right and Willie did right, and there's things that Jake did wrong and Willie did wrong, right? One of the things that I would say that Jake did right was jab. He threw a lot of jabs. That's the good thing, to keep Willie at a distance. You know what I'm saying? And he had that early volume. He was throwing volume in the early beginning of that fight. He was throwing volume, which kept Willie like on his toes. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't being too aggressive because of
You're
that.
saying that Jake Paul was throwing volume
In the beginning of the fight, yes, he was. Yes, he was. And Willie did things right, too. He was the aggressor. He was coming forward. He controlled the center of the ring. But like you said, he never capitalized on certain moments.
I think you got it there. I think Woodley had better ring generalship than Jake Paul. Woodley's presence was felt a lot more than Jake's throughout the fight.
Funny thing, right?
Yeah, and that's all with his experience in MMA.
And he still lost
experience from MMA onto boxing, and he kept his composure throughout the fight. Like throughout the whole fight, never in one round did you see him like losing his composure, his cool. Like even when he got rocked by Jake Paul, he was still like pretty much stoic throughout the whole time. Whereas Jake, you saw him, as he was fluctuating throughout the fight, he was going down, he was drowning. You saw him getting fucking gassed.
To be fair, they both rocked each other.
They did, but who looked more like they were going to get out of there? I thought it was Jake. I thought Jake Paul looked potentially like he could have gotten stopped if Woodley pushed the pace a little more.
Yeah, that's all he had to do. But there's things that both fighters did wrong. In this case, what Jake did wrong, like, is not work on his cardio enough, because his cardio slacked and it showed, right? And he also slacked in the later rounds with. He wasn't throwing enough volume like he did in the beginning rounds, right? And Willie did things wrong as well. You know what I'm saying? He didn't throw enough, obviously, the frozen one, right? And he waited too much. He waited for that right punch too much. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that both fighters did wrong, but unfortunately, that ended up costing Willie the fight.
Did cost Woodley the fight, but I thought it was a close fight, though. I had Woodley actually potentially, I think if Woodley just would have thrown more punches, he would have won the fight. I don't know what the fuck happened with him, man. What do you think happened with him?
Yo, honestly, I really feel, and maybe I'm wrong here, right? But I really feel like Jake's early volume and his jabs kept him at a distance, and feints, obviously the feints, because the feints helped a lot. You can see Jake Paul going like this, and you can see Willie taking that step back. You know what I'm saying? Jake Paul has a right hand. We all know that, right? The important thing is that he has a right hand, and he believes in his right hand, and he'll make you believe that he has a right hand if you're his opponent like Willie, and it showed that he believed that his right hand was dangerous.
He didn't land it enough, though. Had he landed it a couple more times, I think he could actually hurt Woodley, in my opinion, had he land that right hand more often. But Woodley's got a chin, man.
Yeah, Willie's got a chin, and we had questions going into this fight about Jake Paul and his chin and how he would do in the later rounds. Yes, we have some questions answered. Jake Paul in the later rounds, his cardio doesn't hold as much. Maybe he should work on that. That's workable, right? His chin showed like it took big punches here and there, right? That's good enough right there. You know what I'm saying? Because Woodley is a hard puncher.
I think Jake Paul. I think it was a good night for Jake Paul as far as experience, because he went 8 rounds. That's always good. Yeah. That's always good when you get some rounds in. No matter like the quality of the fighter. But I think he's not. I still think he's not ready for a real boxer, man. I don't think he's ready for a real boxer.
Yeah, I think Jake should keep it at that. I think he should. What's next, right? Should we talk about what's next for both of them, since we're already going towards it?
Let's connect to that. I think Jake Paul should stick right now. I think the perfect next opponent for him is probably Jorge Masvidal. Like, the build-up has started for that fight.
And that's not an easy fight. I'll tell you that
It's not an
for
easy
Jake.
fight because it's also another striker, a potentially better striker
Yes,
than
better striker.
Woodley. So you're still in the MMA realm, but at the same time, you're stepping up the competition and
As he should.
sense. As he should. Because I don't think he's even ready for like a Tommy Fury or like just like a boxer to say the least, bro. Like I think he would have any boxer at that night would have probably drowned him the way Mayweather did with McGregor.
Tommy Fury had, you can say, not easy because nobody's ever easy. They're coming at you. They're coming for your head, right? But he had an easier matchup than most in that card, right? He had another MMA fighter, and it shows that he wasn't a boxer, his opponent, right? And he did not.
Yeah.
And knowing that Tommy Fury has been doing this all his life, he was not able to finish him, right? Do I think that Tommy Fury would, and Jake Paul, how would that go? I still believe that Tommy Fury would give Jake Paul to work, to be honest with you, just because he is a more polished than Jake Paul. Because Jake Paul's new.
Jake Paul's not ready for a real boxer, man. Like I think he needs to keep fighting MMA fighters until he starts getting more experience. But to be honest, to be fair, what is it? His like third, fourth fight, pro fight? It's his no. His first one was an amateur fight.
Yeah. Well, you said pro fight. Four. Pro fight.
He's got 3 in.
He got 4 pro fights in. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Just say 4 because I know it's 4.
Okay, so yeah, so
right. No, wait. Matter of fact, you're right.
Fight,
yeah, it's 4. It's 4.
Think about this though. He's going 8 rounds now on his.
Yeah, that's pretty good, fight. Man. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Some fighters go like at 6 at this point.
Yeah, some guys at 6. Potentially even 3 rounds up to that point. So, he's doing some things right.
Let me tell you what's next, right? What's next for Jake, and I really feel this should be the route he should take, is keep going with this MMA versus boxing, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that a boxing community is going to take you in, but if you do face another MMA fighter and you do beat him too, then boxing might just take you in to just let it out there and say, boxing prevails over MMA. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's what's going on here.
We can't take him serious, though, when he says that he wants to fight Canelo or,
No, that's just stupid. That's just him trolling, bro. That's him trolling.
Gervonta Davis, come on. Come on, bro. He's not ready for that shit.
Let me tell you what's next for Woodley. For Woodley, what Woodley should do, and this honest truth, bro, do we want a Woodley versus Jake Paul 2? Hell fucking no. I don't want that shit. Am I going to watch it if it happens? Duh. I'm a fight fan, right?
He asked him to get a tattoo. A tattoo.
And, so I will talk about that in a few, right? But what's next for Woodley, I feel like he should just take the loss, right? It was a fair loss. Right? Should he stick to boxing? No. Should he continue on to MMA? Maybe Bellator will take him. I'm not trying to shit on Bellator. Bellator is a good organization. I'm just saying because I think UFC is pretty much done with him, right? I think boxing at this point, based on his performance, no one is going to tune in.
Yeah, I think his stock went down with the fight, man.
Yeah. So what you said, all right, let's talk about this tattoo. Let's make this thing a topic, right? So the tattoo, should Willie get this tattoo or should he not?
No, because it's not guaranteed. Jake Paul said if he gets it, then maybe we'll talk about it.
But that wasn't even the bet, my guy. The bet was if I beat you, which he did, you will get tatted. I love Jake Paul. If he is a man,
you knew that wasn't going to happen.
But it doesn't matter. If you're a man, you made this deal. You shook on it. You literally put your hand on his hand and you shook on it in front of cameras. So you have to go be a man of your word. You're on camera, my guy. You're saying I agreed to it, bet, and you shook on it, bro. That's a man's word right there.
Yeah, he's not doing it for the man's word though. He's doing it in expectations to get the Jake Paul rematch.
Oh yeah, of course. It's another pay. Would you get a tattoo for another $2 million? Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but should he get it? I say yes, only because you got to be a man of your word. You know what I'm saying? Because people will respect that. Yo, this guy said he was and he did it. I respect that, right? Would I get it if I was Willie? Fuck no. That's it. Take my $2 million. I'm done. Take my $2 million. I'm done. All right, bro. So listen, I have this question for you real quick, right? And who has the better chance at being successful? Is it MMA fighters who go into boxing or boxing fighters who go into MMA? Who has the better chance at being successful?
Let's look at the stats. We have, let's start off with James Toney going MMA. That didn't go so well when he fought Randy Couture. Let's talk about Woodley, for example, going over to boxing. That didn't go well. as well.
Yeah, but we can honestly, if you want to talk like names, let's talk Amanda Serrano, who's 2-0 right now
Amanda
in MMA
Serrano is
with 2
doing well
submissions, by the way. So that's not even her striking. That's like her MMA game right there. Right? That's her grapple. That's her jiu-jitsu. 2-0 submissions. You know what I'm saying? We got Clarissa.
Brandon Serrano came from MMA to boxing or boxing
to boxing to MMA. To boxing to MMA. Come on, man. So yeah, so now she's 2-0 with 2 submissions, right? And look, let's talk Clarissa Shields. Look at Clarissa Shields, my guy. Look at that. No 1-0.
You can't count that one though, because that was just her first pro fight.
Okay, fine. Let's go this. How about Holly Holm, UFC champion?
That's the one I was thinking about. Holly Holm making the transition to
who was 10-0 before her after her Ronda Rousey fight. She was 10-0 champion. You know what I'm saying? Before her
I would say boxing to MMA is the easiest transition out of, the vice versa. I think it's easier to transition from boxing to MMA than it is to MMA.
If you look at the numbers, that says it.
Stats, we're like the people that has done it. Yeah.
But if you take a step back, and you would before you look at it, you'd be like, okay, you have to learn this. You have to learn this. You have to learn this. You would be like, holy shit, no way. But my guy, the numbers are there. You know what I'm saying?
It's close though. It's close because you also have look at Anderson Silva. He just beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Yeah, but he had losses before that.
Champion though.
He had losses before that on his boxing record. I didn't even know that. I didn't know he was boxing before that. Apparently he did. I looked it up, and he had some losses too. So just because
he still won the fight though,
you could be Julio
Cesar Chavez.
You could be Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., bro.
Nah, don't say that, bro. Like at the end of the day, he's still like, it's respectable that he's a former world champion too.
Bro, you think Jake Paul beats Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.? Yes or no?
Yo, I never thought about that, bro.
That is a great fight.
That is
a fight where boxing fans do not root for none. They'd be like, fuck Chavez Jr., fuck Jake Paul.
They should make that fight actually, because he just lost to Anderson Silva.
If he would have beat Anderson Silva, that would have been a great fight.
Yeah,
but since he lost to Anderson Silva, that's not a good fight right now.
It is a good fight though, because he's still a boxer,
But what I'm trying to say, there's boxers that turn to MMA. Like look at even not even fighting real boxers. Fucking Ben Askren fighting Jake Paul 0-1. You know what I'm saying? Conor McGregor, yes, he fought Floyd Mayweather. He did good, by the way. I feel he did. Maybe people are going to get on because of this, right? 0-1, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when it comes to names...
I feel like a real boxer would have done that to Jake Paul, though. Like the last Saturday night. A boxer would have done what Mayweather did to McGregor. Just an average boxer.
Like a Tommy Fury?
Yeah, I think Tommy Fury would have done that to Jake
Paul.
I
think he would have won. I think Tommy Fury would have won. He's like a little bigger than Jake Paul, but he has boxing skills. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, he should have finished his opponent earlier than he never finished him. He should have finished him early because at the end of the day, his opponent and his record, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I feel Tommy Fury edges Jake Paul in a victory. It might not be a knockout. You know what I'm saying? It might be a decision.
Going back to the question, though, so which one is it for you? I would say it's easier for a boxer to transition MMA than it is for MMA to transition to boxing.
Yeah, I think – no, you're trying to say the other way, right?
It's easier to transition from boxing to MMA rather than MMA to boxing. It's easier. Okay. It's an easier transition from boxing to MMA.
So I'm going to leave it at this, right? It's easier for you to go from MMA to boxing, right? Because you don't have to learn as much. Just stick to one art that you do. But it's proven not to be successful as much as boxing going towards MMA. So that's where I'm going to leave it at.
At the end of the day, boxing is stand-up. So you're implementing a lot of that into like the sport, because that's already that's a portion of what you're being taught in MMA, Yeah,
that's true. But I'm going based on the numbers, my guy. I'm just saying, like, based on the numbers, I feel like, you have to learn a lot when you jump from boxing to MMA. But like when you go from MMA to boxing, I feel like you just have to focus on one art. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you're so, and I would say Clarissa
Shields, it's easier, but not the best outcome.
No, but I'm talking like what you're saying about like if Clarissa Shields is like fucking great boxer. Like that's an advantage if she just learns a little bit of everything else, like takedown defense, grappling,
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, etc. Like if she just learns a little bit of that, takedown defense, and she implements that boxing, like that striking, some leg kicks. Obviously, she knows range with boxing. That's an easier transition than just an MMA fighter getting into boxing. Like for what you're saying, you need to focus on one thing.
But yeah, man. So I'm gonna leave it as that, bro. Like we both agree on this. We feel that it's easier. Well, I don't know. I feel that it's easier to go from MMA to boxing, but you're more successful to go from boxing to MMA.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%, man.